لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك
محمد نبينا بنور هدينا محمد نبينا بنور هدينا.
As preparations for the 2019 Hajj gathers momentum, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria (NAHCON) has constituted 2 teams to prepare ground for the accommodation of pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. The teams are saddled with the responsibility of inspecting apartments in Mecca as well as negotiating their rates. Before departing to Saudi Arabia for the job, a workshop was organized for members of the teams on how to carry out their assignments effectively. Leading the workshop, NAHCON Head of Inspectorate and Compliance Division Dr. Aliyu Tanko highlighted the key guidelines set by NAHCON for use by members in carrying out their task. The guidelines include, amongst others, noting the quality of the accommodation, the facilities available in the apartments, and their proximity to the Kaaba. Speaking at the workshop, NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed called on participants to carry out their assignments in line with the policies laid out by the federal government, saying that they must not compromise on the standards set by NAHCON and the Saudi Ministry for Hajj. The NAHCON boss further urged members of the teams to make the pilgrims their focal point. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria (NAHCON) attributes the successes being recorded at the Commission to the support it enjoys from President Muhammadu Buhari, particularly in fighting corruption in Hajj management. The head of public affairs at NAHCON, Fatima Sanda Usara, stated this while interacting with journalists covering Hajj activities at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja.
There was no way they could fight the corruption that was eating deep into the system. Now to fight it, you need to have somebody as your leader that will support you, somebody that identifies with your own direction. And that's what the Commission was able to find in President Muhammadu Buhari. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has been receiving commendations both within and outside the country. And I must say, if the Commission deserves commendation, I believe it's the President himself that deserves much commendation.
She said the various reforms being implemented by NAHCON have saved the country huge sums of money. The reforms are in the area of accommodation services, basic travel allowance (BTA), hadaya or animal sacrifice, airlift of pilgrims, as well as rehabilitation of Hajj camps. The interaction generated comments and questions from journalists.
NAHCON has a long way to go on this hadaya issue, and the best way for NAHCON to do it is each and every pilgrim should pay for hadaya. Get the support of the ulama. Let them back NAHCON on this. After a trial of 1, 2, 3 years, then the issue of form, if you want to do your hadaya or you are going on ifrad, then you can withdraw. If not, the issue of hadaya will still remain a problem, unless there is a mechanism now to ensure all pilgrims welfare boards collected hadaya from their pilgrims. If not, please, this issue, let us look at it very critically.
The Commission promised to hold the interactive sessions regularly as part of its strategy to keep the public abreast of its activities.
for people to use Umrah or to use Hajj and break Saudi immigration law and refuse to come out, certainly the Commission will not continue to look the other way around. We will not accept it, we will not allow it, we will not condone it, and we will work together with
the Riot
to
Act,
make sure that
read by NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Muhammad, to those using the Umrah or Hajj periods to stay in Saudi Arabia illegally. The chairman issued the warnings during one of his meetings with stakeholders on Hajj and Umrah matters. The issue of pilgrims overstaying their visa permits or absconding during pilgrimage is a challenge that Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, as well as key stakeholders, are working together to overcome. These offences have serious implications for those involved.
They will be charged some penalties they have to pay, and then they will be deported. And the implication, anybody that is caught in this kind of issue, either overstaying deliberately or decide to abscond, then the penalty is that you pay before you are before you are returned back to Nigeria, and then they will have your fingerprint, which will deprive you of going back to Saudi for a number of years.
In addition, there is the image problem for the country, where these offenders come from, and Nigeria has had plenty of these problems to contend with.
They give the country a bad image because they don't have any real records of being there in Saudi Arabia. So they can commit all sorts of atrocities, you know. It could be stealing or anything that is not acceptable to the government. They can commit anything as Nigerians. So the image of the country is affected. And when they are checked later on and find out that they come through travel agency, we are also affected.
The offense is often perpetrated by women. Oftentimes, 2 or more women pilgrims make use of one mahram or guardian instead of one to each pilgrim.
When these people are traveling, they usually attach a person, one man, to many ladies. And then those, the embassy realizes that those people who are going that way don't really return. And it becomes a problem to us.
In fighting the menace, NAHCON has put in place measures to deal with the problem. These include mounting enlightenment campaigns using different platforms.
The Commission has several approaches in the sensitization of pilgrims, not only in this respect, but in other matters that are of concern to the Commission and other stakeholders. As you know, the Commission is having weekly TV programs, the one that we refer to as You Answer the Call. We also have township hall meetings that are undertaken from time to time, especially as the Hajj is approaching. And of course, we have other media activities. We also use the social media, whereby a very wide coverage is given, a wide network of sharing of information.
Making a guarantor available during pilgrims registration is another step taken to contend with the problem of overstaying and absconding among pilgrims.
This guarantor is the one that will ensure, that will confirm, yes, these pilgrims, when he or she go, they will definitely come back. And then we try also to ensure that such guarantors are fully aware of the implication of whom they are granting, because it is stated that if you stand as a guarantor to any pilgrim that did not come back, then you as the guarantor will be responsible.
The guarantor for any pilgrim must be a district head or an imam of a Jumu'at masjid, among other requirements.
For a person to qualify as a guarantor, not only for pilgrims of tour operators, but even the pilgrims of states, you need to have an officer or the public office as a public servant of grade level 12 and above, a local government chairman, for example, a district head, a recognized imam of a Jum'at mosque, and among others.
NAHCON is also working with other government agencies like the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, and Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, among others.
Issue of abscondment or overstaying beyond the limit is regarded as human trafficking, especially for those who are organizing to carry those that they know they cannot come back. So, and this is an issue of NAPTIP. We work together with them to see how this thing can be stopped and identify the culprits or identify the such agents that are doing that and then be punished appropriately.
Other measures taken also include sanctioning tour companies whose registered pilgrims overstay their visa permits or abscond. They will also be liable in the event that the pilgrims under their care seeks and obtain another visa. When detected, the punishment for these offences by Saudi authorities come in the form of fines.
The Saudi government implements fine for Umrah operations, which is very, very tough for the agents, for the person who is overstaying, because he has to pay a fine, I think about 50,000 riyals. And then the company will pay their own, and then even the mother company in Saudi Arabia will have to be involved as well. There is so much money involved. People lose so much money.
However, those interested in working in Saudi Arabia can do so by applying for such arrangements even before they leave Nigeria.
Saudi Arabia has given chance to people who want to go and work in Saudi Arabia like any other country. You can apply through the agencies for that. They have availabilities of jobs. You choose the one you want to do, apply, then they clarify you, they send, they take it from there. They do the visa and everything.
Although these measures have reduced the incidences of immigration-related offences during Hajj and Umrah, NAHCON is not relenting in its efforts to ensure that Nigerian pilgrims are complying with the rules and regulations regarding the stay in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
الله ربنا هو الإله له من الأسماء ما اصطفاه الواحد الحي كذا المليك.
Welcome to the quiz segment. Our question last week was, what is Miqat? The correct answer is, Miqat is the approved place where every pilgrim must assume ihram and declare intention to perform Umrah or Hajj. The winner of last week's quiz is Chukwuemeka Ofo of number 13, Umudu-Amaji Lane, Okwado, Unjaba Local Government, Imo State. He provided the answer ahead of others. Chukwuemeka Ofo will be contacted on how NAHCON will get his prize across to him. For this week, the question is, name 3 Mawaqit you know. I repeat, name 3 Mawaqit you know. Text your answer to the number showing on your screen. The winner will be the first person whose correct answer is received. All answers should carry name and location of sender. Good luck and happy viewing.
الله ربنا هو الإله.
شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك.
Walking between the two hills of Safa and Marwa, otherwise known as Sa'i, is one of the pillars of Hajj and Umrah, otherwise called the Lesser Hajj. How are pilgrims expected to perform the Sa'i, and how many times? What supplications are recommended in the course of the Sa'i?
You now start from the hill of Safa.
Imam Muhammad Ma'aruf Raji answers these and other questions. He begins by explaining what the Umrah or the Lesser Hajj is all about.
Is defined as an act of worship for Allah with circumambulation of the house of Allah, with performing Safa and Marwa, which is called Sa'i, and with shaving of head or reducing the hair on the head. Basically, that is what we call Umrah.
When are pilgrims expected to walk between the Safa and Marwa?
إن الصفا والمروة من سهاهر الله. One of the symbols of Allah are these two mountains, mountain of Safa and mountain of Marwa, in which whoever that is going to perform Hajj or Umrah must do. As-Safa wal Marwa is after you have done your circumambulation of the house of Allah, after you have done the prayer behind Maqam Ibrahim, then you have drank from the water of Zamzam. After the drinking of water, you now move to Safa and Marwa to do the walking.
Are pilgrims supposed to begin the walk with Safa or Marwa?
On getting to Safa Hill, you need to face Qibla and do the takbir thalatha, 3 times. Then you do tahmid by thanking Allah. And certain prayer are recommended by the Prophet Muhammad, such as La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu la'ul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Then you now say Abda'u bima bada Allah wa rasuluhu. I'm starting the way Prophet Muhammad did. So you now start from the hill of Safa, you are moving down to the Marwa.
How many times are pilgrims expected to trek between the Safa and Marwa?
You need to do this 7 times. People used to make mistake. They will be thinking, you will do Safa 7 times, you do Marwa 7 times. No. Going from Safa to Marwa, that is 1. Then from Marwa to Safa, 2. Safa to Marwa, 3. Marwa to Safa, 4. Safa to Marwa, 5. Marwa to Safa, 6. Safa to Marwa, 7. So which means you are starting from Safa, you are ending in Marwa.
Located at the valley of Safa and Marwa are the green lights. What do the lights signify?
As you are going, you get to a station, a point of green lights. In that place, while you are walking, you jog in the place. You jog a little, not running as if you are running like 100 meters race. For men, you jog. Then on getting to the second green light, you stop and walking down to Marwa.
Can a woman perform the Safa and Marwa rites while observing her menstrual period?
When they are in their period, they cannot do Safa and Marwa, because among the things that is not allowed for woman in her period, she cannot hold Quran, she cannot enter Bayt al-Lail, she cannot enter Haram, she cannot do Tawaf. So if you cannot do Tawaf, you cannot go near the mosque and do Safa and Marwa. She has already completed the Tawaf of Bayt al-Lail Atiq. She has already completed a nafila behind Maqam Ibrahim. She has already drank the Zamzam water. She has already started the Safa and Marwa on the course. Then the period now came. So the ulama, according to book, we call it Al-Fiqh al-Islami, so you will finish up the Safa and Marwa.
What supplications are recommended for pilgrims when performing Safa and Marwa rites?
When you are starting your Safa, you need to read certain verse of the Quran, which is highly recommended. That one is in the Quran 2 verse 158, Surah Al-Baqarah verse 158. Inna Safa wal Marwata min sahair la ila akhir khaya. You need to recite that. Then highly recommended dhikr of the Prophet Muhammad is La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. That is one. Then لا إله إلا الله وحده أنجز وحده ونصر هبده وهزام الأحزاب وحده. This is all the people that compiled the hadith agree on these two dhikr, that it's highly recommended to be recited during the Safa and Marwa. But any other dhikr is also allowed to be recited. Even you can recite Rabbana Atina fi dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar if it is convenient for you.
Imam Muhammad Ma'aruf advises pilgrims to always seek knowledge on how to perform Hajj or Umrah.
الله ربنا هو الإله له من الأسماء ما اصطفاه الواحد الحي كذا المليك.
I want to know, how can I register if I want to participate in this year's Hajj exercise?
You go to the state of your choice or travel agency. If you log on to the NAHCON website www.nigeriahajcom.gov.ng, you will see all the licensed approved tour operators that are mandated by the law to carry out Hajj activities, either Hajj or Umrah. While the 36 states of Nigeria plus 2 entities, that is FCT and the Nigeria Armed Forces, then you can pick any of those and go and make your payments there. But the normal protocol and the normal procedure is, when you get there, you will be issued a form. Once you issue a form, now they will tell you to come with a minimum bank draft of ₦1 million. After that one, then your data will be collected and it will be uploaded via the registration officer of that state will now upload the pilgrim data, including NIN number. This year, this is the latest. Any intending pilgrim that intends to travel for Hajj must bring his own NIN number and a guarantor to satisfy that this person is clean to travel for Hajj.
إن الحمد والنعمة لك